Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 1st of July. So, apologies for those that are sitting here waiting for it to be out on its normal time, but we're 10 minutes or so late because of technical difficulties. I'll put it down to that. Updates and all that. Anyway, where are we? Euro dollar has sold off through the Asian session, well actually the late Asian session there, since about 6 o'clock. Sold off towards its monthly pivot there. Now we're at a key point or near a key level here, because is it going to retest? I mean, I could reshape this trend line if I could find the end of it, which it's an extended trend line, so probably not is the answer. But if I could, oh, there we go, there it is, it's just sitting there. If I could reshape that, you can see it's round about testing the that trend line there. If I readjusted it for the more recent price action. Now question here is quite simple: is it going to bounce from here? If it is going to bounce here, we may get a bit more movement. My feelings is it's put lower high, lower low in, and really it's looking soft. However, it sort of moves right away through that Asian session. Has it got a bounce in it is the question. It will probably be oversold here. It's, as I say, put lower highs, lower lows through the hourlies here as well. Got probably let me just check. Yeah, as suspected, we've got some an oversold signal coming in there, which may bring it back towards the mean, if not more. Now I'm looking at sort of levels there around about the 21, maybe as high as the 50, but 21. But looking at those prior lows, that in itself may provide the resistance. Tested it all most of last week, those levels, and managed to bounce from them at one stage, looking like it wasn't going to come back, but there we are. So there's the weakness. Selling to a retrace may be the best option here, but I would have to wait until it gets back towards 21 for that. Okay, the pound's also sold off a tad here, not massively. It's around about its monthly pivot as I'm talking. It's looking like it's got more potential downside here. Again, it's around those levels from last week. In fact, this one was the major one that I was looking at. The key support areas kept on coming backwards and backwards to these levels. Retesting those at the moment. Maybe it's going to sell and break these this time. It does look soft as we talk at the moment, but there's the monthly pivot just around about those levels, and I think it's worth waiting to see the reaction. We could sell into it, but it's not going to give us very many pips, and it's about 5 pips away from there at the moment. Little to be done. But there we are. That's where it's sitting at the moment. Potential test. If it breaks, I really want to be selling into retracements at these levels. There's not an oversold signal on the pound, but any retrace would give me a nice opportunity. Maybe I say any retracements in the day trading room. I'd be looking at the sort of 30 or 60 minute trend lines, moving averages such as the 21 or 50. Looking at the dollar yen. Let's come out in this bigger time frame first. Dollar yen, well, it's look like again a bit of softness here. We're seeing US strength in the dollar and in the markets. It looks like Trump's meeting went fairly well from what I can read through, and it's there's no further increases going on. Tariffs even going on Japan, China even. I'll get the right way around. Sorry, I'm just trying to. The worst thing is when you start trying to think and talk at the same time. Anyway, looking like this, it looks like it's going to push up a bit further. There is the gap below, which will be a draw for many a trader, I can assure you. They'll be looking for that to sell into, and it may come into play. The yen has been one of the more the stronger pairings, and you're looking at the moment, it's just kick into here. No MACD divergence, bit of RSI divergence on my more aggressive setting there. Maybe that'll work. I mean, it's got a daily and monthly pivot sitting right bang below to fill that gap. So what would be an entry? Well, maybe a trend line break here. it may be worth watching to see if it breaks this level. I mean, it's still relatively aggressive in terms of the price action that's there to be had. So, okay, there's the yen. Looking, as I say, bit of divergence on this hourly, but we'll see. Have to wait. Patience game. That's the problem when the markets move through the Asian sessions. Okay, so Aussie dollar, bearish engulfing on this first of the month candle, isn't it, so far? But of course the day hasn't finished. I was quite surprised how far it's pushed up, and the New Zealand dollar, they've done really well, probably due a decent pullback. We've already tested the 4 hourly 21 before, so that got a little test, but back to the weekly pivot at the moment, and it's whether or not it can find or hold on to support at this level. A break of this would see a target maybe down towards that 4 hourly 50. So had a good move, filled the gap over the Asian session there. That's filled support, as I say, into the weekly at the moment. Daily pivot already hit. It's a difficult one for a day trade. Is it going to be a key reversal bar? Well, you need to just wait until the end of the day for that, of course. And if it is, for those that want to be aggressive, there may be a short available. But as I say, it's a very aggressive move, but it does go with a bigger trend. Canadian dollar. I thought the Canadian dollar may have done better. The OPEC meeting went pretty well for the oil producers in terms of an agreement with Russia and OPEC that cuts would be continue to be held, but Canadian dollar hasn't done particularly wonderful at that, and that may just be the knock-on effect of the stronger US dollar. Edging its way up towards its weekly pivot. Actually, its monthly pivot was on view here on this chart here, way up at 32, 22, 23 area. Could push on for that at some stage, but I mean, it has held on pretty strong. That weekly pivot, it's all about the weekly pivot. When would the monthly pivot come into play, and looking for it to trade it back to it? I think for me it need to break what's in front of it on the 4 hourlies here first. At the moment it's a sell back to that 4 hour, well, into the 4 hourly 50. I'd quite like that point to be selling into if it pulls up there, but if it breaks through it, of course, you just stand aside. But short term here, I think it could just stifle itself in terms of this price action. It's not a great day trading currency for me. Okay, I'm going to finish up on looking at the S&P just to show you what's gone on through there. Big gap up. I did suggest if an agreement's made, 3,000 will be hit. Well, we haven't got an agreement yet. However, he's just taken the foot off the brake a little bit, and it got the big gap. Will it get filled? I know there'll be a lot of people trying to trade it back to get it filled. I wouldn't like to bet into that movement at the moment. However, it's a bit like the yen in a sense here, with the divergence on the 60 minutes. No MACD divergence, which may suggest it will just push on if they're not agreeing. An aggressive trend line break across the trend here may see give those that are looking to play this divergence to the gap fill a go, or even back down to its S1 part gap fill. There's that is a potential, but the more, as I said, any sort of agreement, discussion of agreement, makes the S&Ps look bullish, very bullish. So that's it. News wise today, we do have a little bit. We've got manufacturing PMI out this morning at 9:30 for the pound, so that's a good reason not to be trading the pound until we see that number come out. That's at 9:30. Apparently OPEC meetings are all still on all day, but I think some agreements have already been made. We'll see. Canadian bank holiday today for Canada Day. US dollar, it got the manufacturing PMI as well, so at 3 p.m, but gives us plenty of chance to trade up until that point, but maybe worth waiting for that 9:30 news. That's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.